you box, graphic arts, do movies, make people laugh, you know. So I thank you for joining me today, man. And first of all, how you doing, bro?
I'm all right. Unfortunately, I got a little acid reflux right now.
Oh yeah, acting up on you. I
Yeah, it
appreciate
comes
you
and goes.
joining me.
Yeah, it comes and goes, so got to
I
deal with
got you,
it.
bro. I got you, bro. So I'd like to start with your programs that you got going on over at the Mayweather Boxing Club. And lately, it seems like you're in the ring all the time, like every
Um,
day.
yeah, pretty much.
And how did
Well,
that
I
come
have
about with your new programs, Jeff?
well, I don't actually have programs. I actually just have fighters that I got young. I got young fighters, and I have, of course, seasoned fighters as well. But some of the kids that I have, their parents just picked me to be their trainer. So that's kind of how that happens.
Well, you got definitely the resume, which I want to talk about going all the way back to when you started, when, your pro debut came through, and then you went all the way to win a world title in 94 against John Ruby, if I'm not mistaken, the IBO championship at super featherweight.
Yeah.
And so you had a heck of a career there. You 32 and 10 and 5 with 10 KOs. That's an excellent resume. What was your start? Let's take you back in time. What was your beginning in boxing, if you don't mind me asking, Jeff?
Um, it's funny that my story is different from probably most people that are involved in boxing. I really got involved in boxing because of the love of my brother Roger. I followed I followed Roger everywhere he went. When we were growing up, we were so close in age. And so I would follow him to the gym every day. And he said, if you're gonna be coming to the gym every day, you might as well learn how to fight. And so I said, okay, well, I guess I will. And so that's actually how I got into boxing. But that was my start. How I got into boxing on a professional level is even weirder. Because I was walking across the stage for this is for when I was in college. I was just graduating. And Roger happened to call me when I was walking across the stage. And I couldn't answer. But once I got off the stage, I called him back and he asked me, did I want to come to Vegas? I said, yeah. But it became something much different than what I anticipated because I think he kind of missed me, just like I kind of missed him. So when I came to Vegas, I got off the plane. The first thing he did was took me to his house because he had about 5 or 6 cars parked in his driveway. He said, which one of those cars you want? Okay, so I picked the car. But I'm thinking to myself, why do I need a car in Vegas? Next thing I know, He took me. He took me to this jewelry store, and this jewelry store, there was an old man there that actually he had chosen as my manager. He said, "That right there, that guy right there is your manager." I said, "Manager?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "I never said I was coming down here to fight." But I think what happened was I started to think about it because I said to myself, if I'm going to do something, I got to do it while I'm young enough to reap the real benefits of it rather, rather than lying to myself about what I could do. Like I might say, I can beat this guy, I can beat this guy, but the only way I know if I can beat him is actually to put myself in that position. And so Roger kind of created that position for me, whether I wanted it or not. But
What did he see in you that made him see a fighter? Because obviously you were excellent at it and you still are. So what do you think that was that pivot for him for you to see that?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was my ability to fight. I think it was. I think it was just our brotherhood that we had.
Yeah,
It was so. It was so strong. Put it this way: we did a lot of mischievous things. He was the ringleader. I was just the guy that go do it.
yeah,
And so, of course, he was a little older, so he was a little wiser.
sure.
But he was that way. He was one of those type of guys that he would take risks to do anything. But I wasn't like that. But I was when I was with him,
Yeah.
and I think it was just he was older, and I wanted to impress him.
I love how you admire him and you could see it the way you're speaking, the fond memories that you're sharing. It's motivating. That's like your hero right there. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because we were so close that when he moved to Vegas and I went to college, we would keep communicate, a lot. And but I never imagined that I would be involved in boxing, especially this long.
I want to
From the day
welcome
I've been
in.
here,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm going to welcome in one of my brothers here, Kevin Perry.
Okay.
This is my boy
Okay.
Kevin. I just want to introduce Kevin real quick, and we're going to continue on, Jeff, with that wonderful
Okay.
story that you're sharing with me, sir. Just so you know who popped in here, this is one of my brothers right here. But
Okay.
Jeff, please continue on about your brother Roger and your experience starting with boxing with him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't seem like because even though I boxed in amateurs, but I never thought about boxing pro because I made a promise to my mom that I was going to graduate from college and I wasn't going to box because she was afraid of me to box.
Absolutely.
But what ended up happening was I would go downtown almost every day. I would take a ride downtown, sometimes take a bus, sometimes drive. And I would go downtown and tell my mom I was looking for a job, but I wasn't. I was just going down there to eat or meet a friend or something like that.
Yeah.
Because by this time, I kind of made up in my mind is that, okay, I'm going to try this boxing and see how far I can go and how long I'll last. And so that kind of became my priority over anything else. And so that's how I ended up boxing.
What was it like
Never
the
really
first
cared.
time? Yeah, you were in the ring. What was it like the first time once you got in the ring, sparring, stuff like that, with the training advancing to the spar level? Because they say you got to, it takes, to get hit to understand what boxing really is about, right?
Yeah, but it's funny when, but this is when I was still amateur before I realized that, well, maybe I do want to box because I came into the gym and there was a guy hitting the bag. Guy was way bigger than me. And he said, "You want to box?" I'm thinking to myself, I'm saying to myself, no. But my heart wouldn't let me say no. So got in the ring with this guy. I was probably about 120 pounds. This guy's probably about 160 pounds. And I got in the ring with him. I still knew I knew the basics of boxing, but come to find out, this guy didn't know nothing. He knew absolute he knew absolutely nothing.
Uh,
And even though he was bigger than me, I beat the crap out of him. And so then I said to myself, well, maybe I can fight. And then after that, I started. I went to the Golden Gloves, and even in the Golden Glove, it was it was kind of weird.
Absolutely.
You know, in the Golden Gloves, I had two of my very best friends that I got them involved in boxing, but all three of us were in the same weight class.
Wow.
So I ended up having to fight one of them. And it's so funny. He never likes me to tell this story about, but it was so funny because one of my friends got beat. He got beat. I told him, don't worry about it. I'll get that guy back for you. Then I had my other friend who happened to be my next opponent. And so we start fighting. I start beating him up really bad because I wanted to win. He grabbed me. He said, my father's out there. He said, and so then after that, I took it easy. I took it easy on him just because he said his father was out there. It was funny, but so and after that, I stuck with boxing for about another 2 years. And then when I went to college, I didn't do no boxing, but I would go to the fights. And every time I go to the fights, I would see guys that would win a tournament that I already beat. And so one day, um, I would go home almost every weekend just to have my mom wash my clothes. And so she just washing my clothes one time, and then she found out that I had hand wraps, stuff like that. And she said, "You ain't boxing no more, are you?" I said, "No." And then an article came out on the front page of the Graphics Press saying that Jeff Mayweather has returned back to boxing in the Golden Gloves. So I got busted because because
So is this
because
at
of
the
the writer.
time? Is this at the time you were in Michigan for graphic arts? You were studying graphic
Yeah,
arts, right?
yeah,
So you were competing in boxing and studying and graduate. You got a degree in graphic arts, right?
yeah.
So you were doing all that at once. That's like completely different fields. How did you end up into graphic arts at the same time you were boxing? That's pretty wild.
Well, I mean, because I was actually in college, and so I had to do
Had to
whatever
do
I had to
something.
do. Yeah, I mean, I just I said to myself, like I said, I seen guys that I was spar with win the national titles and things like that. So I said, I could meet them.
Sign me up.
I'm coming back. Yeah, I'm coming back. And so I did. Came back, went to the nationals 2 times, but never won it. I got to the final,
Um,
I never won it.
so Jeff, this is I'm Kevin Perry. Great to meet you. Love your story. I kind of got in a little bit late, but just one
It's okay.
question.
Mhm.
Did you ever like actually intend on going professional, or were you just kind of doing the amateur just to kind of maybe because you looked up to your brother so much, or was that just a phase you were going through, or did you actually ever intend to go pro?
No, never had no intentions of going pro at all. I really had no intentions of really boxing. It's just the fact that I wanted to hang out with my brother so much. So I was like his shadow. So wherever he went, I went. And so he just said, if you're gonna come to the gym every day, you might as well learn how to fight. And that was my first phase of going into boxing. I never cared about it though. I did boxing. I won't say I did it solely for my brother, but I did it more
So,
for him
boxing,
than I did for myself.
so boxing kind of chose you, and you didn't choose boxing.
Yeah,
Is that your assessment?
yeah, definitely. Yes. That's the best way of putting it.
It really is a wonderful story. So while you were boxing, every fighter's got their, weapon of choice or their specific skill set, style. What were some of your influences and what was your favorite punch?
Um, I like to throw the overhand right because I wasn't a puncher. I was never a puncher. I was fast and I was fast on my feet.
So you'd wind
Didn't
it
get
up.
hit much. Yeah, bring it from back here.
It's like the old school like barroom overhand right, the barroom brawl fight. Like I'll get you
Yeah,
like Indiana Jones style, the punch out.
yeah, like that.
I'll knock your lights out. But hey, if you land that, it's bomb squad all day, man. That's a big shot if you hit it.
No, that's a very big shot. And I have fast hands, so I can get it off sometimes.
Got to be quick and accurate though, because you get nailed with that uppercut or that counter shot, you know. But you have quick hands, so your reflexes have to be great too.
Yeah.
See, me, I was never good. My feet are heavy. I'm good with my hands. My legs, no good. I'll stand there in traffic all day and take it. Oh, no good.
Well, you're in trouble then.
I'm in trouble. That's why my face is crooked. That's why my nose is crooked. Too many.
So,
Too
so,
many up front.
but besides your brothers, is there any other fighters, like in the gym or pro fighters or just people that you're around that influence you along with your brothers as far as in the gym being a fighter?
Um, Not really. I mean, Tony Tucker
Yeah.
used to train in our gym, but I wasn't really influenced by him. I wasn't really influenced by anyone because I didn't really care to do it. I just
You know what?
I did it for
Your
did it for my brother.
nickname, your nickname, Jazzy Jeff. You're jazz. Jazz is whatever it wants to be. It's improv, right? It's like you just went with the flow. It seems like you just wrote your own song with this thing, man.
Um, it's funny where I got the nickname Jazz or Jazzy. My teacher, because when I was in elementary, I used to wear suits. I used to wear suits to school. And so she said, "You look pretty jazzy." She said, "Every day."
Every day. Every day.
And so that name stuck with me.
That's a great nickname. It's a standout nickname. So I wanted to ask you about your boxing channel that you got going on. Your videos crack me up. So I want to talk. Your humor is excellent. Kev, you watch the Mayweather channel, right?
Oh yeah, it's I love the back and forth you guys, you and your videographer. I mean, you guys are it's just an interesting relationship you guys have. Could you like talk about that a little bit? Is that something you'd like to talk about briefly?
Yeah, that's fine.
So what,
Let's
what's
hear
that
about
like?
it.
What was it? Um, what was it like starting that YouTube channel? And is there anything you guys are doing now or in the future that you'd like to kind of touch on?
Well, I mean, we're just like most YouTube channels. We try to do what's trending and what's going on in the boxing world. But how we got started, a friend, he had a camera and he said, "Let's start filming stuff." I said, "For what?" He said, "YouTube." At this time, I don't even know what the hell YouTube is. So the very first person we got on camera was Mike McCollum.
Yeah. Wow.
And because I knew Mike McCallum, we trained at the same gym. We used to talk all the time. And the camera guy was terrified of Mike. He thought that Mike was he said, "Oh, I heard so many bad things about him." I said, "No, I know him." So we talked to him. He was the very first person we ever talked to. And then since we were at fights that night, he started going everywhere we seen a fighter. No matter what level they was on, we would interview them. And been doing it, what, probably about 8 or 9 years now.
That's the way to do it with starting them, like, interviewing the fighters at any level. And that's where the stories are, where they come from. That's what's unique about boxing. That's why I love talking to fighters, so much like yourself, because everyone comes from a unique story. There's so much more beyond
Yeah.
just the ring, and it's deep, man. It's got so much roots to it and layers.
Yeah, a lot of times
Yeah.
the backstories are better than what's really actually in front of you.
Absolutely.
How you get there. How you get there is just as important as where you are right now.
That's absolutely correct. 1000% in all areas of life, every single day.
Yeah.
It's about the
So
journey and the passion.
So Jeff, you're currently involved in boxing. John was telling me you're working with a lot of younger kids, amateurs.
Yeah.
Yes, and any prospects you'd like to kind of mention, or just talk about the kids that you're working with?
Well, I have like some young kids. I mean, really young. And then I have the best prospect that I have right now is this kid named Joseph Brown. He's only 17, and he does all combat sports. And in all those combat sports, his record is 72-0. So can you imagine walking up to this kid and having a fight with him? He kick you in the face, elbow you, knee you, punch you, everything.
Your whole soul is done.
Yeah,
Any
and
like the journey song, any way you want it. Unbelievable.
His dream is to win a title in boxing and win a title in the UFC.
I'd love to see something like that. A boxer kind of cross over and do UFC and be pretty successful. I mean, I think one boxer actually did do it, Holly Holm, but on the male side, it would be interesting to kind of see if a professional boxer could cross over. Do you think that's something that's possible, or something you'd see in the near future?
Well, I don't know how near the future will be, but that's Joseph Brown. That's a mission that he wants to approach. He wants to be a guy that says that he conquered both. And he has the potential to do it.
Absolutely.
Just turned 17. So the future is bright.
Has he decided if he's or when he's going to turn pro, or has that been discussed, or is he still just doing amateurs? Or is he
pro now?
Okay,
he's pro now. He's 2-0, and he'll be fighting on Floyd's undercard, and when he fights Gotti again.
Okay.
Oh, okay, great.
And who's going to win between Gotti and Mayweather, the third fight? Who's going to win that one?
Floyd's going to win. Floyd beat Gotti. If Floyd could turn 60 or 70 years, beast. He'll still beat these guys that ain't got no real boxing experience.
It's fun. I like it,
He
but
forgot.
I totally agree.
No, to be honest, it's like this. The stuff that you guys see from Floyd when he was in his 20s, he was able to do that when he was 6 years old. So every, everyone in my family already knew. I won't say knew, but we all thought that where he's at today is not a surprise.
Yeah.
He was destined to be exactly where he's at.
Wow. Kevin will tell you that Floyd's been my favorite fighter for like ever. So, I mean, to hear that, I'm not surprised at all.
Oh yeah, not at all. I mean, you see by the results, you can see that was his destiny. So, it's pretty clear cut there.
Yeah.
Astonishing. I could see it too, 6 years old doing that. I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. It was kind of like, like you see these child prodigy, like a Michael Jackson or a Sammy Davis or other other artists that start,
Yeah, greats,
Justin
greats.
Bieber,
Muhammad Ali could
that
be any
start so that
Michael
start so
Michael
young.
Jordan. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, but Jordan didn't start young.
Yeah, that's true.
But he still became great.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing about Floyd, from what I see, and obviously I mean, you would know better than anyone else. His work ethic's second to none, right? The guy's always in
Yeah.
shape. He's always in shape. I mean, it's so inspiring to see that.
Well, that's been instilled in him from when he was a kid. The one thing that Floyd used to do, and people that like lived in the neighborhoods, because his dad would have him running around the city. And that's when he was about 6, 7 years old. And everybody would say, who is this crazy kid running around the city? Because they didn't know that his dad was in the car watching him.
Yeah.
But and he would do that at least 4 times a week. And I'm talking about he would run
Yeah.
like about 4 or 5 miles,
At that
even at that
age.
age.
At that
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
Wow.
And
The lung development still is that's still happening. That's wild, man.
well, I mean, that's why he can still get in shape, especially for these YouTube fighters. Not not these fighters that he'll forget more than they ever learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But hey, I
So
love the fact that Floyd still does it. It's entertainment. You know,
Yeah.
it's to me, it's great entertainment. And for Floyd, he's a great example. Life after boxing, keeping himself fresh, going out there, still earning, having a good time. He ain't hurt nobody. I mean, it is the hurt business, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, to me, that's good
oh
fun.
yeah.
That's good fun to
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
Jeff, since we're on the
Yes.
the YouTube boxing thing, I just wanted to ask you just kind of a funny question. Pick your brain here. Um, you against Jake Paul in your prime, who would win that fight?
He's too big for me. He's too big for me even
He is
now.
big.
But
That would be my concern for both
I
of us,
think
Jeff.
I think that, of course, I would think I would beat him.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's different now a little bit because he learned a little bit of boxing
Yeah,
and
he
he's
did.
fought a few fights, but
Yeah.
skill for skill, just like I said, I forgot more than he ever learned.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So if I was to fight him, not now, but back then, I would beat his ass.
You would beat his ass. Another thing is too, you would totally beat his ass. We'd have to find out how well he does under duress, because we haven't seen him really get hurt or really fatigued. You know,
Yeah.
like you work fighters in the ring. I've seen you in action. You work fighters in the ring. No one's really worked him yet. We got to see that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also these fights with Jake, you don't know, you never know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. So some of them, I mean, I'm not saying anything outrageous, too outrageous here, but I question some of the impact. I mean, maybe I'm not saying they didn't hit, but maybe some people's chins weren't all, up to par for taking some big shots. But I heard he does have good power.
I think he has good power. I mean,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I think he's good for boxing.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you can generate money, no
Yes,
matter how it's going, I like it. And I mean, but I still speak the truth when I talk about him because these guys, like the guy Mike Perry just fought,
Yeah.
I knew he didn't have a chance. He's a guy he's just a tough guy.
Yeah.
And most of the guys Jake fight are always smaller than him.
Yeah. Well, he looked like he was about 30 pounds heavier than that Mike Perry guy.
Probably was.
yeah,
I mean, the one thing with Jake is this: no matter what, he's the A side.
that's right. That's right.
He's the A. He's the A side because he brings the money
Yep.
Yeah.
to
I
the
love
table.
what he did with Amanda Serrano too. I love what he did for her, helping her get a little
Yeah,
bit more.
yeah, that was great.
That was great. That was really good. And that continues to this day with that. And it's great to see them helping out other fighters that deserve the recognition, getting her on the undercards, getting her the
Right.
big interviews, getting her good fights, man. That's what the sport needs. We need good attention and good press. And guys like you, man, you're out there doing it for us for decades upon decades. That's why I'm glad the younger generation gets to see the Mayweather channel and all the fun you guys have and all the great fighters. A lot of my students and stuff like that for music, they're like, yo, I want to go over to that Mayweather club. I want to go hang out over there and stuff like that. They want to go box all the time. And I'm like, yo, go over there. That's the best part about boxing. You got to just go through the gym, walk through the door, figure it out from there. Everybody's got a different journey, man.
That's
That's
true.
what you were saying. Everybody's got a different journey.
Yep, that is true.
And that's the best part. Mine started in Newark. That first smell I remember. I remember the first time I sparred, the way that knuckle, you could smell the sweat through the glove and it hit you, and you get all dizzy and you just want to cry. You're like, why am I doing this? Like everybody got to experience that experience to get it different.
No, that's true.
You know,
Very true.
I just say just be careful and stay away from community cups because we don't like those things. No community cups. No
Yeah,
good.
boxing. Boxing is a very, very tough sport, and if you, I always say this: if you get hit by someone and you don't want to hit them back, it's not for you. No, you're not going to make it in boxing. The second to one issue, you got to want to tear their head off. Now you're a fighter.
That's true.
Yeah.
Switch. It's a switch, man. And I tell you what, like being around it and watching it in the amateurs, like I did, and seeing the other competitors, male or female, you see people blossom and you see them change into what you said right there, where they could be prim and proper or whatever, but they get hit, it's on. It's a whole different story.
Yeah.
And when you could see when someone could handle it, because some people they flinch and they can never get rid of that flinch, like they're always anticipating getting hit. But sticking your
Right.
nose in there, that's why when people say fighters are runners and this, some people engage more or less. But to stick your nose in a boxing ring like you're gonna do something and not flinch and not worry and be all jerky about shit and look like you're real, that's hard. That's hard to do and stay focused and not lose your shit, you know?
Well, also the one thing about boxing is that if you're a great defensive fighter, you're not running.
Nope.
It's just not getting hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I mean, a lot of people get criticized by fans because of that. But at the end of the day, it's a brutal sport.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And not only is it brutal, a lot of fighters aren't the same
Nope.
once they step out of that ring the way they were before they walked into that ring.
Absolutely.
And there's a chance of dying.
Great
It
chance.
happens.
A great
Yeah,
chance.
it happens.
I think boxing is the most dangerous sport in that it's, concentrated areas, constant, the same areas that you're getting hit. Mixed martial arts, you can mix it up a little bit more. It is dangerous, but boxing is vital organs on the regs, brain, heart, lungs, liver, just trauma areas, man, disaster zone areas. And if someone's good and they can work a good jab and a nice right hand off that or a good body attack throughout the course of a fight, that could wear you down and start shutting down vital things or one shot. One concussive shot. We've seen it way too many times in this sport, man.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, it's happened numerous times where people who stepped in the ring left the ring in a casket.
Yep.
And it's not going to be the last time it happened. It's not going to be the last time that happened.
So, Jeff, so since you're bringing that up as far as the amount of damage that fighters do take in the ring, obviously in their professional fights, thoughts on sparring? So I've been to Mayweather gym quite a few times. Never met you there, but I've been there quite a few times, and other gyms, obviously. How much sparring do you think is good for a fighter? Because obviously people see and they see residual effects that you see fighters get from boxing. Most people who don't really understand the nuance of boxing is a lot of the punches they're taking is in the gym, besides just the fights themselves.
Right.
You as a trainer, what do you think is a reasonable amount of sparring? And is that just depend on the fighter that you have, or could you maybe go into a little bit more detail, like what the, I guess you would say a safe, I mean, it's nothing safe in boxing, but what's the safest way to go about sparring with a fighter?
Well, the most I would ever have someone spar in boxing would probably be 3 times a week. That's the most. That's the maximum. Some guys spar every day. And when you spar every day, there's a chance that when your career is over, you're not going to be the same fighter that walked into that ring. Because the brain is not made to be hit on every day.
This is very true. Absolutely true. And that's the thing with spars, like they get addictive because they're fun. If you're a real competitor and you like to box and work on things, or maybe, you have a little gym beef or something like that, whatever the case might be,
Right.
spars could be fun. And spars, like some people think that spars are light. Like I see some spars that are not light, man. So whoever thinks that spars are light, not the case. I've seen some real hard spars and been a part of them before. And you're right. Like when I heard three, I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot, but
Well,
but then again, that's professional grade, and I totally understand that where that would help too.
yeah, but I've seen three guys die in the ring from sparring.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow,
So
spars can be rough.
I've seen at least 6 different people die in the ring.
There's a
So
Yeah, there's a lot that goes with that.
yeah, it's I mean, like I said, it's a very, very tough sport.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you're saying that the practice part of the sport is probably more dangerous than the actual fights themselves. Would you agree or
Yes.
disagree with that?
Yeah, because when you're sparring every day, you're building up because you're getting hit every day. And if you're getting hit every day, something is happening to you
Yep.
that shouldn't be happening.
So
And
so so that being said, like what is like probably the closest thing to sparring that a fighter could do to mimic sparring, to get to practice?
well,
Or is there
there's
anything
one
that
thing. No, there's one thing about boxing is this. If you're going to step in that ring, nothing can substitute sparring. Nothing. You can hit a heavy bag, closest thing to it, but it don't punch back.
Nope.
And if it don't punch back, it ain't doing you no good. Because in a fight, your opponent's going to throw punches back. So the best thing you can do is spar to prepare for a fight. Prepare for a real fight. You have to spar.
Absolutely. You got to get your hands in there. You got to get your hands dirty and your head in there. It's like the movement, the reaction, again, how you're going to respond during duress, cardio, stamina, engagement on the inside, too, nerves. That factors in.
Right.
The thing about spars, too, people are more vulnerable and compromised, I believe, because their diets aren't that of a professional grade where they're training professionally every day, dieting the right way. You never know if someone's on steroids or something that you're facing in a gym. You know,
True.
you're going against different weights. I sparred heavyweights at 154 pounds, man. Like some crazy shit goes down in gyms. Sometimes that shouldn't go down, but I'm a competitor and I wanted to do it. But that's a
Yeah.
fighter. That's
yeah.
what we're
Yeah, I've
supposed
sparred some big guys too.
that's what we're supposed to do. We're fighters. We ain't gonna say no.
Yeah, that's true.
What was the difference between because I'll tell you what mine was. When I sparred a big guy, I'll tell you what happened to me right away. I want to hear your experience though.
Well, most I was a mover. I was kind of like all over the place. So most of the time when I spar really big guys, I just kept moving. And most of the time they couldn't catch me and they get tired.
Yeah, my guy got tired, but he got tired because he was whooping my ass so bad. And so this is no joke. So when he hit me, I moved because at the time I was fighting at 140. Right now I walk around like 160, but at the time I was fighting at 140. I was like in my 20s. So he hit me, and I flew across the ring just flew across the ring like piece of paper being thrown. You know, I just had
Right.
nothing. And then the guy got tired after about the first round. I was like, all I got to do is just kind of stay away from him. But I'm horrible in my legs. I could not keep away from this man. So he kept beating my ass until finally he had nothing left. When he was punching me, it felt like nothing. So I just went to work on him a little bit. And we got, believe it or not, 10 rounds in. Both of us looked like shit. It was pathetic afterwards. Down like the eighth or ninth round. I don't even know why they even had us in there. It was pathetic. It was more silly than anything else, but we became great friends afterwards. But the first time he put his hands on me, I literally got thrown across the ring. And I was like, damn, this ain't gonna work out so good. He was like 220.
Right.
So let's talk about let's talk about big heavyweights or size differences in boxing. Holyfield and Sultan Abragmiyov, right?
Oh yeah.
That was a big one, and you were part of that one, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, right?
I was a part of that one. I was a part of him and Shannon Briggs.
Yeah,
And it's funny because I was training Shannon before at Salton.
yeah,
And I got him to win, to get to the number one spot.
yeah,
And then I left his training camp because I was disappointed in him because Shannon is so talented. It's ridiculous. But he wasn't he's one of those guys that he liked people to tell him lies and yell at him. You know, guys that just lying just to hopefully get a check or get paid. And so and I told him like I was like, you got more talent than almost any heavyweight I ever seen.
absolutely. He was very good.
And especially with the size how big he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet and he had tremendous punching power. But too many too many yes men on the team.
Mhm.
So I ended up leaving. And when I left, his next fight was against Salton.
Yeah,
And what's funny is that I kind of I was talking trash. I was talking trash to him. He almost beat me up. And then it's
he's a
funny
strong
because
dude, man. He's a strong dude.
yeah, he's real big
The calves, the
too.
legs, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't want no part of that. It's like fighting a refrigerator.
Don't think I don't want no part of it. I don't want no part of it either. But I was just I was on I'm on my fighter's side. He's not my fighter, so I started talking trash to him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so he got mad. And so after the fight was over, I hadn't seen him. I hadn't seen him in a long time. So he had came to Vegas. It's funny how I got the job with Shannon. I got the job with Shannon because a guy, one of these writers, I forgot his name, told Shannon's manager that I'll be perfect trainer for Shannon.
Yeah.
And he called me and brought me down to Florida, and they had a tryout for like about 3 or 4 different trainers. But I ended up winning the tryout, and so Shannon said, "You got the job. Don't worry about." It. And so then we didn't train for 3 days. It's funny because he came after I got the job. I went down there, then I came back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Then he came back to Vegas. And when he came to Vegas, he said, because when he was here in Vegas, his manager said that Shannon's he's gonna train down there for 3 or 4 days. Shannon said, don't worry about that. I'm gonna have some fun in Vegas. I'll see you when you come to I'll see you when you come to Florida.
Let me
But
ask. Yeah.
no,
I was gonna say about Shannon, his personality. I mean, is second to none, but his power. I seen him train in Newark and whatnot. He's tough, man.
no, he can really punch.
He can
I
punch.
mean, I hit in the face by him once.
Woo.
I was like, oh my God, it was hurting all day.
It's exactly what you see with him. Like when you see him, like without cameras around, he's got that vibe, man. He's got that swag. He's great to be around. His energy's amazing.
No,
Yeah,
he's a cool guy.
yeah.
But like I said, when he found out that I was in Salton's corner, he started talking about me. And then, okay, after the fight was over with, though, he came to Vegas. He wasn't looking for me, but we happened to. I don't think it was just me and him, but when it's a situation where you know that you two got some animosity between one another, it seemed like it wasn't nobody there but me and him.
Yeah.
I'm walking this way, he's walking right toward me. And he said, yeah. And he's acting like he was mean and he was gonna do something to me. I start walking fast. and then he said, so long, Jeff, man, I want to talk to you. So I slowed down. He said, look, man, I'm glad you won the title. He said, you deserve to have a champion. And he said, but I'm gonna get y'all next time. But I mean, so I always have fun experience with Shannon. He's a
Oh, he
very,
cracks
very
me up. He
funny
cracks me
guy.
up, man. He's full of life, man. He's so inspiring and motivating. He just gets a rise out of
Yeah,
people. You feel something when you're around him. Whatever it is, you feel it. You know.
it's true.
Jeff, since we're on that topic, you don't have to answer it if you don't feel comfortable. But who's a favorite fighter that you trained? Is that something that you could divulge with, or is that something personally you just want to keep to yourself? Or offend anybody, but
Well, I mean, as of guys that I train, I would say at this point would probably be Celestino Caballero.
I was going to ask you about him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the 5-time world champ.
another world champion that you had. So
Yeah, I won 2 world titles with him.
Yeah, man. Major.
Yeah, the reason why with him is because basically the way I got the job was weird. His friend saw me at, I think it was I don't know what fight it was, one of Floyd's fights. And he just came up to me and said, "You're going to train my brother." At this time, I had no idea who Celestino was.
Yeah.
So him saying that, I didn't get excited about it. I just wondered who it was.
Yeah.
But the one thing was this: they were hiring me, and he had just won the world title. So I'm starting with a guy that's a world champion.
Yeah.
And once I start working with him, me and him had a great relationship. I mean, we would spend hours just talking about life. And that would be almost all the time.
Beautiful.
And that's the one thing about when you're a trainer, you're so much more than just a trainer.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta take the role as a father, a friend, and sometimes even as an enemy.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I was with Celestino. We were that
Yeah.
close.
I could tell the way you're talking, the way you feel about him, and what you're saying. I totally could relate to that. And you're all those things. I'm not going to even try to say it anywhere near you. You hit all the beats, my man. You hit all the beats on what you said right there. That was
Yeah.
beautiful. That was beautiful. Let's speaking about life, I want to know a little bit about yours before I let you off the hook here. Music.
Okay.
Tell me about music. What kind of music you like?
I like it. I like any kind of music itself. Acid rock. I can listen to anything else.
No acid rock.
No acid rock.
None of that crazy acid rock shit.
No, I can't deal with that.
So no acid rock. Do you have a favorite musician? A favorite instrument?
Um, no. I mean, the favorite singers that I used to like don't really sing no more.
Yeah,
So I'm past that now. I'm old.
yeah. So what kind of stuff do you put on from yesteryear? What kind of old stuff do you like? Because I like a lot of old stuff.
I like I like some current. I like Usher.
Yeah.
I like my favorite singer of all time is Donnell Jones.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't really know,
Yeah,
but I like all music.
absolutely, absolutely.
I just
So
the only
yeah,
thing I don't like, one thing I don't like is this: when I'm singing a song and it's a girl song, and you said everything they say.
I caught myself doing that shit the other day, and luckily it wasn't like Madonna like a virgin. It was pretty damn
Yeah,
close. It was pretty damn close. And it was a moment. It was thank God no one was around, bro. And the fact that I'm even talking about this right now, it was a cleaning moment too. I was cleaning my studio, and I had a moment with Madonna, and it was a moment I tried to sing with a high pitched voice, and it was bad, man. Not meant to be.
yeah,
I'm sticking to the
that's
drums. Hey man,
yeah.
I
I was doing
appreciate
that
your
one
time
day.
today. I appreciate your time today, man. This was a blast. So obviously everyone knows where to find the Mayweather Boxing channel, but is there anything you want to share with the audience before I let you go tonight? I think my buddy got kicked out off the thing. His internet's been weird, but Kevin's a great dude, and you'll see him around if ever we link up again. Hopefully, sometime soon. You're amazing to be around, man. But
Okay.
yeah, so where can we find any information that you want to share to the listeners, man?
Um, Not really. Just hopefully, um, people will support the Mayweather channel.
Absolutely,
Actually, now it's called the Jeff Mayweather channel. To be
yes, sir.
honest, that's been a long time coming, but it's finally there. And other than that, that's about it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate your time. This show is going to air on Friday on iHeart, Spotify, everywhere, YouTube, and I'll send you the links to everything,
Okay.
and I'll send you the footage of today's show as well, so for your own keeping. And I appreciate it.
Okay. Sounds good.
I thank you so much for your time today, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.